Hi, welcome back into the Happy Place Garden. I'm Melinda and this is my garden. And today we are going to focus on some problems I am having with one of my rhododendrons. I've done a previous video on some issues with some other rhododendrons I have in my yard that got Budblast. They were much bigger rhododendrons. This is a much smaller one. But you can see that there are issues with Budblast on this one. We did get some blooms this year. They're starting to fade, but it's a really pretty light, kind of pale purple. Not sure of the variety. I actually got this from my friend Rebecca. She had it in a pot on her porch for a long time. And then when she moved, she gave it to me and I put it in this spot, which I think for the most part, it is pretty happy. It might get a little more shade than it might like, but otherwise it's been doing pretty good until the Budblast, which I think it probably got from the other rhododendrons. And I'll bring you in for a close-up to show you what that looks like. And then I also have problems, if you can see along the edges of the leaves, I'll bring you in for a close-up as well, is we either have weevils attacking the leaves or earwigs. I think it's weevils. So the life cycle of the weevil, it has a larval stage and then it has a full adult stage, and it will like be in the ground and then it will climb up at night and it will chew the edges of the leaves. So you can do a couple things. You can use things that will kill the adult. You can use nematodes. You can use sticky tape around the trunk so that when the adult weevils will climb up, they'll get stuck to it. You can come out at night when they surface and do their feasting, and you can kind of shake them off, put a bucket underneath, shake them off into a bucket of like soapy water. You can try that. That's a lot more than I really want to do, honestly. So I think my plan of attack, because I've got two things going on. One with the fungus, that is the Budblast, which I'll link my previous video to give you a little more info on that. So I'm just gonna keep it simple and use neem oil. So let me grab the products to show you that I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna use Neem Max by Bonide. So I'll this is the concentrate, so I will mix that according to directions and I will spray it, but it's still got blooms, so I do not want to do it during the daytime because we do still have pollinators out. But first though, before I do that, I'm going to pick off all the buds that are affected with the Budblast. So once that is done, then I will spray it at night or very early in the morning. And then for the weevils, excuse me, I'm going to use 7th dust, which you can use it down around the base of the plant. You don't want to use it when it's going to rain or when you're going to water. So I'll just do a light dusting of that and see if that helps. We've got a lot of new growth, so hopefully we can eradicate the weevils or the earwigs before they attack the new growth. So I'm going to bring you in for a close-up and kind of show you what I am looking at so you can see on your plants if you're dealing with the same kind of thing. Okay, bringing you in for a look at the Budblast. What happens? It's a fungus that affects the forming buds early in spring, and it ends up killing them, and it ends up being brown like this, and they do not form the flowers. So it didn't affect the entire plant because I did get some flowers, which is lovely, but it did affect quite a few. So it's not as nice as it would have been otherwise. And then here is the damage I was talking about with the weevils or the earwigs. So they eat and chew the edges of the leaves and you get these notches. So here's a lot of the new growth that hasn't been affected yet, but it looks like this. So we need to get rid of those. So I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna pick off all of the dried up brown blasted buds. Put them in a bucket, throw them in the garbage. Do not put them in your compost because that will spread the fungus. And I'm doing this with bare hands and not gloves. So try not to touch any of the other surfaces and wash your hands when you're done. Don't go touching any other rhododendrons before washing your hands. And I just noticed too that some of the branches are getting kind of low to the ground. I may end up pruning that up because that allows for the weevils to climb up into the bush as well. So that might help with that situation. And I also just noticed we might have some little bit of white fly as well. So that neem oil should help with that when I apply that tonight when the pollinators are gone. Just make sure you get all of the blasted buds. Okay, I think I got them all. Here's the bucket with all the buds that I picked off. So I think I'm also, after I prune it up, I'm going to water it in really good before using the 7th powder and spraying it with neem oil later tonight. I'm going to water it in and use some good fertilizer because I don't think this one got fertilized last year, so it might be a little stressed, might need a little more nutrients. So I hope that video was helpful for you. I hope your rhododendrons aren't having these same problems, but if you found the video, you might be having some problems. So I hope that was helpful in guiding you on what you can do to help your rhododendrons. And I hope you have the wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.